The Billionaire's Muse, sculpted by capital, beauty, power, and the plastic surgery industrial complex. A cultural autopsy in contour and concealer.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Lauren Sánchez, the rebranding of a billionaire's girlfriend, comedic spectacle, and the crisis of face in a post-authentic world. Hello, internet gremlins, disillusioned media theorists, and my fellow armchair psychoanalysts. Welcome back to Studio Meeks, your corner of the internet where the tea is piping and the shade is vintage. Today, we're dissecting a face. Not just any face. Mrs. Lauren Sánchez Bezos' face. Yes, the helicopter-flying, yacht-papped Bezos arm candy turned space fiancée recently emerged wife herself, who over the past 20 years has morphed from Emmy-nominated newscaster with a J-Lo jawline to the unofficial mascot of filler migration. Listen, this isn't just another before and after roast or a mean girl hit piece. This is a cultural autopsy. This is a socio-anatomical excavation of beauty, insecurity, and capitalist excess, starring one woman, her injectables, and the ever-watching public eye. Let's be clear, Lauren is rich, like a ping-pong-sized 30-carat diamond rich, and she literally could have done anything. She could have disappeared in blissful anonymity, bought a castle, Argentina. Instead, she gave us Bezos' yacht girlfriend wearing a bandage dress with cantaloupes strapped to her chest. Her look isn't personal style. It's a multi-million-dollar algorithm-approved, hyper-surveilled performance of desirability. A tightly pulled dissertation on the death of authenticity in a hyper-capitalist beauty industrial complex. In a deeply fascinating way, she is morphed into that which embodies conspicuous consumption. This is not a she was prettier before takedown, because the beauty of a person, at the very least physically, is completely subjective, especially when it comes to desirability in relationships, and I will not attempt to understand or dissect the mess that is Lauren and Jeff's private life. Nor am I a plastic surgeon or psychiatrist. I'm a person with opinions, and this is constructive criticism because instead of following in the steps of successful billionaires' wives past, committing oneself to simple philanthropic endeavors in between a life of endless vacations, being a lady who lunches, or buying herself a business to run, I fear we have encountered a level of self-destructive narcissism where not only is the self-proclaimed queen of Amazon.com determined to be famous, Mrs. Sánchez Bezos insists on establishing herself as the emblematic reigning consort of Bezos in the public's consciousness. So given the fact that she feels so compelled to shove down our throats that she is a very rich, powerful philanthropist, skilled astronaut and helicopter pilot, and also the perfect wife, mother, and never-aging beauty of a woman that is literally God's gift to humanity.
Listen. You have the right to be quiet, okay? Anything you say, we're gonna use it. In the court.
I have decided to take the time out of my life, note that I only get one of them, to discuss the absolute insanity that is Mrs. LBS. This is a critical, unhinged, media-literate exorcism of beauty culture, because what's going on with Lauren's face isn't just cosmetic. It's the ultimate proof that we live in a society. It's theoretical. It's a face with more angles than Jeff Bezos' tax evasion strategy. And like I said, this is totally, in my opinion, completely alleged and not to be taken seriously. Welcome to Fashion and Face Police. Joan Rivers is joining us in spirit. Chapter 1. The performance of perfection. Let's call it what it is. Body Dysmorphia, Billionaire Edition. Trademark. This is not aging gracefully. The Lauren of the past looked like a confident woman aging into her prime.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lauren Sánchez, sitting in for Dorothy, as Steve just told you.
A respected journalist with credentials. She had gravitas, diction, and a face that moved. But in 2019, everything changed.
All summer we sucking dick, we sucking dick, taking everybody's man, we're fucking everybody that got me.
When she became the other woman to Jeff Bezos and eventually his fiancée. What followed wasn't a relationship. It was a full body rebrand. Out were the blowouts and power suits. In came cheeks pumped tighter than Amazon delivery deadlines. Let's call it what it was. Makeover capitalism, where a woman becomes more palatable to extreme wealth by altering her body to mirror the fantasy of the male gaze. And in Lauren's case, that fantasy seems to come with a brow lift that you could ski down and the lip volume of a Real Housewives housewives reunion, collectively. Her transformation isn't a makeover. It's a business merger between late-stage capitalism and hyper-feminized performance. But it's not just her face, or even limited to her alleged physical modifications. Lauren's fashion, if we can even call it that, looks like what would happen if a Vegas showgirl inherited a tech fortune and spent all of it at a luxury bondage boutique. But Lauren's transformation isn't just personal, it's deeply political. Media theorist Angela Robbie argues that post-feminism in popular culture sells the illusion of empowerment while subtly reinforcing old-school patriarchal norms. In works like Sex and the City and Bridget Jones' Diary, women are framed as independent and sexually liberated.
Stop being a whore. There's more to life than being a whore. Like being a massive whore. You should just be a massive whore instead.
But their ultimate reward is still male validation and marriage. Sound familiar? Lauren Sánchez is a textbook case of post-feminist cultural contradiction. She's framed as powerful. She's dating the world's richest man. She's front row at couture shows. She's in a tight blue, sexy jumpsuit in space. But her entire persona has been contorted to fit into the male fantasy, and more specifically, one man's fantasy. She didn't just lean into Bezos' world, she bulldozed subtlety with a syringe. Her look doesn't say, I'm independent. It says, don't worry, I'm still hot enough to be here. And that's McRobbie's exact point. Post-feminist women are allowed to be sexy and assertive as long as it ultimately pleases the male gaze. In this cultural framework, Lauren's agency becomes very performative. Her fashion and surgery aren't choices, they're strategies for survival. Because post-feminism tells us the battle is over, and now women can just focus on being their best selves, but only if those selves still serve consumerist beauty standards, marital aspirations, and the existing power hierarchy. Now honestly, Lauren's face isn't aging, it's buffering. She's caught in a loop between Real Housewife and luxury cyborg, performing the paradox McRobbie laid bare, the illusion of empowerment through self-objectification. Let's be clear, Lauren isn't dumb. You don't date Jeff Bezos without knowing the game and checkmating a couple obstacles. Other women, a pesky wife, a couple divorces, but you also don't marry him without playing a role.
Why are we assuming genders when we should be assuming the worst in people? I see you for who you are. Rat.
Her look is a carefully crafted tactic. It screams, don't look at my age, look at my abs. Don't call me a mistress. Call me the main character. Don't look too close, I'm still the fantasy, right? Lauren isn't dressing badly because she's clueless. She's dressing like someone who knows that the camera is always on and she's one wrong hemline away from being replaced by the next 29-year-old with a skincare contract. It's literally anxiety couture. And this is where McRobbie really cuts deep, because post-feminist culture pretends to free women while keeping them endlessly preoccupied with perfecting themselves and not actually changing the system. So while Lauren flies to space, runs charities, and holds court on Bezos' yacht, she's still locked in the same old performance. Be hot, be likable, be seen, be chosen. Chapter 2. Dysmorphia as a cultural epidemic. Present-day Lauren looks like she lost an MMA fight with a contour stick. From the perky news anchor with a 90s blowout to an unrecognizable, terrifying mess.
You see, states and all these things that divide us, but we're not. And
what is your emotion? What makes you emotional?
Joy. Complete and utter joy and gratefulness. It makes me want to come back and just hug everyone and be like, oh my God, we're in this together. That's what this is. I mean, they work so hard to make sure this vehicle gets up and safe, and
I'm so proud of you. It's one thing to say you're going to do it. It's another thing to actually do it.
Her transformation is less glow up and more performance art sponsored by filler migration and chronic insecurity. Netizens have speculated on 6 rounds of breast implants, lip fillers that actually defy anatomical science, fox eye lifts, and Botox so aggressive it should be considered a declaration of war, amongst other alleged procedures, but I'll let you judge that for yourselves. The consensus? She looked better before, but that's not the point. She doesn't just look worse, she looks haunted. Haunted by a culture that rewards women for becoming caricatures of their younger selves. Haunted by the pressure of standing next to a man whose entire brand is domination of the market, of space, and apparently of facial symmetry. Here, surgery surgery isn't about enhancement, it's about escalation. It's not enough to look good. One must look wealthy. It's the face as a status symbol. Her features are no longer expressions of individuality. Her lips are permanently swollen in a knowing, sultry, marketable way. It looks as though she struggles to close her mouth. Her cheekbones don't emote. They signal net worth. It says, I can afford to look like this, and you can't. If you could, you would, and you would still hate me because I'm better at being richer than you. And honestly, this is what happens when beauty is so successfully capitalized upon that even the richest women on the planet, like by proxy, are falling prey to cutting, snipping, and crafting a mirage of falsified perfection. As Susan Bordo famously put it, plastic surgery becomes the medium through which wealth is visibly performed on the body. Lauren is performing wealth, relevance, desirability, but the performance, it's looking a little distorted. It's like watching a Broadway show where the lead is trying to sing with her mouth 3/4 numb from Botox. The message is, I'm still hot, I'm still valuable, I'm still here, but all we see and hear is, please don't replace me. Now, I'm not a licensed psychologist, but I can't ignore the elephant in the room. Netizens regularly speculate that Sánchez is dealing with either BDD, body dysmorphic disorder, or some kind of plastic surgery addiction. And honestly, I wouldn't say that that's too far-fetched. Dr. Catherine Phillips, author of The Broken Mirror, describes BDD as a preoccupation with perceived flaws that are not observable to others. It could be argued that Sanchez's facial evolution, tight and melting simultaneously, has the haunting mark of someone endlessly chasing fixes that create new flaws. And this isn't just about Sánchez. It's about a culture where fixing your face is seen as self-care, where filler appointments replace therapy, and where a woman's worth is measured in maintainable facial and physical symmetry. Let's get one thing straight. Lauren Sánchez's transformation isn't just a makeover, it's a political mood board. And if you squint through the lip filler and latex, what you're actually seeing is Nancy Fraser's theory of justice. Fraser, our certified queen of political clarity and enemy of fake binaries, says real justice has 3 parts. 1, redistribution, the coin, the cash, the class stuff. 2, recognition, respect, dignity, not being treated like a meme with Botox. And 3, participation, having a seat at the table, not just being the one decorating it and cooking the food that's going to be served on it. But Lauren, she's living at the crossroads of redistribution and recognition and getting run over by both. 1, redistribution, rich by proxy. Lauren's proximity to Bezos gives her access to the kind of wealth that makes redistribution debates blush. But here's the catch. Economic capital doesn't automatically translate to cultural power. Just because she can afford a $75,000 Mugler catsuit doesn't mean anybody takes her seriously. In fact, the more wealth that she accumulates through Bezos, the more unserious she looks. Fraser would call this a redistribution recognition mismatch. She's dripping in material capital, but culturally, she's dismissed, mocked, reduced to the girlfriend with a scary face. 2, recognition, when visibility is a prison. Fraser tells us recognition is about being seen rightly, but Lauren Sánchez isn't seen, she's spectacled, trapped in the performance of hypervisibility. In the Kardashian industrial complex, that's not respect. Think about it. Every AI-generated ensemble she's wearing isn't a look. It's a cry for recognition in a system that only notices women when they're hot, rich, and preferably contoured. Lauren's surgery isn't rebellion, it's compliance. 3, participation, or window dressing on the yacht. Now let's add Fraser's 3rd pillar, participation. The idea that justice means you're not just present, you're heard, included, and valued. Lauren may be front row at Cannes and co-piloting rockets, but is she actually participating in power, or is she just a really nice looking accessory for it? Let's be real. Bezos doesn't need a wife with opinions. He needs an aesthetic. And Lauren's participation is visual, not political. What Nancy Fraser helps us see is that Lauren isn't a villain. She's a high-gloss casualty of a culture that confuses validation with empowerment. She's recognized for her looks, but not respected. She's redistributed into wealth, but can't achieve true autonomy. Most gold diggers can't until the person dies. She participates in visibility, but not in value. Lauren Sánchez is not failing the system. She's surviving it by becoming everything the system wants. Visible, desirable, and silent. Pause. Yes, you. Are you spiraling through this cultural breakdown like I did Lauren's Instagram grid at 2 a.m.? Then do me a grand favor. Like this video, subscribe to Studio Meeks, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a single unhinged yappy video essay from yours truly. Chapter 3. The Parasocial Billionaire Spectacle. Let's address the Prada-wrapped elephant in the room. We care this much about Lauren Sánchez's face because she's dating the fourth richest man on earth. But her post-divorce glow-up reads like a playbook straight from the Real Housewives cinematic universe. But here's the real kicker. Lauren isn't just vain. She's terrified of aging, irrelevance, being replaced. We see this often in second wives or women who began relationships as the other woman. There's a constant performance of worthiness.
More money, I want your money. I want more money, I want your money. More money, I want your money. I want more money, I want your money. Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe. And I'm admitting that I won't take it back. Cause I did the shit, I was a hoe. And I'm admitting that I won't take it back. Cause I did the shit, I was a hoe. More money, I want your money.
I'm still hot, I'm still wanted, I'm still better than her. I think that when Lauren alters her face or wears something absolutely crazy, she's not just chasing her youth a la Forever 21 style, she's performing survival. Let's zoom out. Lauren is a case study in what happens when wealth gives you infinite access but no grounding. You start to see your own face as a problem to solve. And when the beauty industry is a $1 trillion empire built on your insecurities, it's all too easy to go from Botox to becoming the unofficial face of the uncanny valley. And here's the tragic irony. The richer you are, the less people tell you to stop. Your doctors are yes men, your stylists are flunkies, and your reflection stops telling the truth. Lauren's face has, dare I say, achieved that uncanny valley quality. Like she walked into a surgeon's office and said, "Make me look like the concept of desirability if it were drawn by a horny robot with low emotional intelligence." The result? A face that's melting and pulled tight at the same time, like someone vacuum sealed a wax statue mid-thaw. A terrifyingly leathery, lumpy mess that looks like a mix between a saw mask and if an alien drew a human being from word of mouth. But she's not alone. The post-pandemic cosmetic boom has ushered in a Botoxed renaissance, and society is applauding women who erase their age while silently mocking them when they go too far. But what is too far anyways? As if we didn't set that GPS ourselves. My point is to say that it's not self-care, it's a cultural psychosis. Jean Baudrillard, who I must add is quaking in his warm grave right about now, our favorite French oracle of cultural doom, argued that in late-stage capitalism, the real is no longer distinguishable from its representation. We don't experience reality. We consume simulations of reality. Hyperreality, as he called it, is what happens when a copy becomes more real than the original. Disneyland, hyperreality. Instagram influencers, hyperreality. Lauren Sánchez's face, hyper freaking reality. Her appearance no longer functions as an expression of identity. It's a simulacrum. A digitally optimized, algorithmically tuned facsimile of what femininity should look like when it's billionaire adjacent, age-defying, and camera-ready from space. And the Baudrillian tragedy? She didn't have to. She had everything the culture told her should be enough. Wealth, access, status. She could have aged like Helen Mirren meets J-Lo. But the culture doesn't allow that. It punishes age, especially in women, especially in second wives, especially when you're on your third marriage to a billionaire dressed in virginal white with a face pulled taut and lips and breasts looking ready to burst at any moment. There is no real Lauren anymore, just infinitely retouched versions of a woman curated for the cover of Vogue, paparazzi shots on the yacht, Instagram, and professionally designed to whisper sweet nothings into a billionaire's ear during space missions. Irving Goffman, the iconic king of social theory, argued that our lives are structured like performances. We all have front stage behaviors, how we want to be seen, and backstage moments, who we really are. But what happens when the backstage disappears? In the age of social media and paparazzi, that stage is now literal, and Lauren Sánchez is giving method acting billionaire arm candy. But we can see the strain. The surgeries are too noticeable, the tightness too telling. The role of glamorous fiancée is slowly but surely morphing into something resembling a melted candle after Catholic Mass. Lauren Sánchez is no longer performing a role. She is the role. Billionaire fiancée, sexy astronaut, and glamazonic stepmother of the universe. But she's glued into the costume, and the mask is slipping. The surgeries aren't subtle. The face doesn't rest. The smile doesn't fold. We're watching in real time as the lines between self, simulation, and spectacle collapse because she has no offstage, no downbeat. She's always on, and that's the real cost of capitalist femininity, never being allowed to log out of the gaze. Lauren's look, tight tan tees within an inch of its life, is no longer in conversation with human beauty. It's the ultimate act of submission to the logic of surveillance capitalism. The self becomes a brand, and the brand becomes a distortion of the original woman. Baudrillard warned us. The map becomes more real than the territory. In Lauren's case, the paparazzi image has overtaken the woman, and the selfies outnumber the soul. Chapter 4. From journalism to jawlines, fashion faux pas, and cosplay couture. Let's be fair, Lauren Sánchez isn't dumb. You don't date Jeff Bezos without playing a little chess. And cosmetic surgery in Hollywood isn't just vanity. It's strategy. It's survival. Now, I don't want to be shady, but I also absolutely do. Because we need to say it. This woman has access to the best stylists, surgeons, advisors, and wealth in the entire world. And yet, the result looks like as if a Stepford wife glitched in mid-spawn. Lauren Sánchez doesn't dress like someone with $200 billion in proximity and a private stylist on speed dial. She dresses like she's cosplaying a real housewife who just discovered AliExpress and thinks quiet luxury is a severe medical condition. But more than just being bad, her fashion is culturally significant. Her style tells us something very real, very uncomfortable about power, gender, wealth, and the Kardashian industrial complex. She isn't just wearing bad clothes. She's manifesting a culture where money buys surgery, surgery demands visibility, and visibility requires vulgarity. In this sense, we have stopped seeing Lauren as an individual. We see her as a barometer of wealth, power, access, and the ultimate status. But let's talk fashion, at least the expensive cosplay of it. Lauren Sánchez doesn't dress like a woman who has $200 billion in adjacency and a full Rolodex of Hollywood stylists. Her wardrobe isn't just bad, it's post-bad. It's tasteless in the way that only money without taste can be, extravagant, overstated, and desperately trying to outsparkle its own insecurity. But it's also extremely significant because her fashion isn't personal expression. It's a high cry definition for relevance stitched in mesh and midlife panic. Every look she wears is engineered for maximum exposure. Not her body, mind you, because that's been sculpted, lifted, and contoured into near oblivion, but the concept of a body. A billionaire-ready, algorithm-compliant, desperately preserved body. Her outfits scream, "I'm still hot," with the subtlety of a Vegas billboard on MDMA, second skin latex and blinding daylight, rhinestone corsets at climate summits, and cutouts so aggressive they should qualify as emergency exits. It's not fashion, it's a performance of visibility. Her clothes aren't saying, "Look at me because I'm stunning." They're begging, "Look at me or I might disappear." And tragically, it's not working. No matter how high the heel, the fashion is always trying to fix what the surgery already failed to solve. The fear that the aging, the natural body is no longer enough. Let's be honest. Lauren Sánchez has access to every stylist in LA, Paris, and let's face it, probably Mars. And still, she shows up looking like someone cosplaying sexy Bratz doll discovers Balenciaga at TJ Maxx. Why? Because it's not her personal style. It's aspiration drag, the aesthetic equivalent of lip-syncing wealth. There's no silhouette management, no sense of occasion, no pause button, just mesh, latex, rhinestones, and a relentless commitment to cleavage. Her looks say, "I must be seen, I must be photographed, I must outglam the ghost of the first wife." Let's be clear, I don't think that Lauren Sánchez is dressing for herself. I think she's expressing a thesis, and that thesis is, I deserve to be here, and I will prove it with every inch of visible skin and every ounce of body oil Sephora will legally sell me. Now let's pull up a ghost chair for economist sociologist Thorsten Veblen, who coined the term conspicuous consumption. The idea that the wealth signals status by wasting resources in flamboyant and unnecessary ways to demonstrate, I can afford this, even if it's ridiculous. Sánchez isn't dressing to look good. She's dressing to signal power, to show off access, wealth, surgery, and status in a way that's completely delinked from elegance and practicality. Think about it. No one wears rhinestone corsets to geopolitical summits unless they're trying to weaponize their wardrobe as a form of status display. It's the couture version of waving a black MX around like a fan in the sauna. And that's Veblen 101. Fashion as a competitive game of elite signaling. The more impractical, expensive, and unnecessary it is, the more powerful it looks. But it gets juicier. Veblen also theorized about something called pecuniary emulation, the drive to imitate the consumption patterns of the class above you, even if doing so is financially or psychologically self-destructive. And Lauren, she's not just performing wealth, she's cosplaying a higher tier of femininity, the kind that's immortal, post-human, and poreless. This is fashion as strategy, not style. Her wardrobe is less about taste and more about tactics. Sheer dress? Don't look at my age, look at my abs. Latex Smitty, don't ask about my marriage. Ask about my surgery receipts. Head to toe glam at every event. Don't call me the mistress. Call me unforgettable. It's fashion as PR damage control. A campaign. A costume fitting for a role she already booked but somehow still thinks she needs to audition for. Lauren Sánchez's style doesn't seduce. It begs. It doesn't elevate. It overwhelms. Her clothes don't say I'm beautiful. They say I'm still here. Please don't replace me. Now, let's not ignore the psychological variable of relationship insecurity. Sánchez began her relationship with Bezos as the other woman. She left her husband. Bezos left his wife. There's a lot of emotional math to do there. If she's overcompensating, it's understandable. She married up. She's surrounded by other powerful women. She's competing for relevance in a world that punishes women over 40 for even existing. In some ways, her surgery addiction might be her armor. Her strange dressing might be her shield. In some ways, she's the most privileged guinea pig in the plastic surgery industrial complex, but I would say that her results are not aspirational. They're cautionary. It's giving Hunger Games capital. It's giving late stage Rome. It's giving I bought beauty and all I got was this uncanny valley mugshot. But here's the kicker. Lauren Sánchez is proof that money can amplify everything except taste. Her fashion is what happens when you mix unlimited wealth with zero aesthetic instinct and a dash of relationship anxiety. What Lauren's wardrobe really says is, I know I was the other woman. I know he could trade me in. I have to stay hot or I vanish. And that's not sexy. That's capitalist survival in couture. Final chapter. In conclusion, the face isn't the problem. The culture is. Lauren Sánchez isn't dressing badly because she's dumb. She's not. She landed Jeff Bezos. She's dressing badly because she's scared. Scared of aging, scared of becoming irrelevant in a system that recycles women faster than it reinvents fashion trends. Her wardrobe isn't an aesthetic choice. It's a panic response. It's survival in rhinestones, self-preservation in latex, desperation disguised as glam. Because in a world that treats women over 40 like expired coupons unless they come with a surgeon's note on a billionaire's arm, silence isn't golden. It's dangerous. You don't get to age out. You either disappear or you fight to be louder than the culture trying to erase you. So no, her dresses aren't ugly because they're loud. They're ugly because they're anxious. They scream because they're not allowed to whisper. And that's the core tragedy. Lauren Sánchez isn't evil. She's not even really a villain. She's not even particularly unique. She's just a mirror, a very stretched, shiny, over-bronzed mirror reflecting back everything rotten about our beauty industrial complex. The commodification of youth, the punishment of age, the glorification of artificial femininity, if and only if it's attached to proximity to power. So the next time someone comments, what happened to her face? Maybe the better question is, what's happened to our culture? Because Lauren isn't melting in isolation. She's disintegrating in 4K, with the full blessing of a society that rewards aesthetic extremity over actual selfhood. Oh my god, hey, if you made it this far without scheduling a preventative Botox appointment or Googling cheek filler side effects, congratulations, your brain still works. So consider maybe liking this video, subscribing for more high definition media meltdowns, and leave me a comment if you made it all the way to the end saying MVP. Because you are an MVP. Stay skeptical, stay moisturized, and never trust a billionaire with a space program and a wife who looks like she's buffering. And remember, here at Studio Meeks, we're not aging gracefully. We're aging theoretically. This has been Studio Meeks. You're beautiful, and you don't need a Mugler corset or an orbital yacht to prove it. See you in the next one, my sweet baby angels.